The man wanted to avoid being disturbed by the demonic energy inside the abyss. He chose to transform into a skeleton lord of necromancy. What surprised him was that, under the suppression of race level, not only did he subdue a team of skeleton soldiers, he even made the skeleton knight, who is an otherworldly life, kneel down in submission. Wu gave the order, commanding these skeleton soldier squads to arrive at the entrance of the flesh golem's lair. According to the briefing, inside, there are approximately 8,000 to 10,000 flesh golems. While here in Han, there's only a little over 1,000 skeleton soldier troops. If they were to face each other head-on in battle, they definitely wouldn't win. He plans to gradually wear down the enemy through guerrilla warfare. So, he sent out a seemingly very weak skeleton soldier to wander near the entrance of the flesh golem's den. Those flesh golems don't have brains. When they see an intruder, they swarm out all at once. The number is no less than 100. The skeleton soldier then followed Wu's instructions. He jogged all the way to lead these flesh golems to the designated location. Immediately, thousands of skeletons jumped out from nowhere, surrounding more than 100 flesh golems. At this moment, they only felt their minds shrinking. The hopeless battle began immediately. The skeleton soldiers were outnumbered 10 to 1, and they also wielded weapons gifted by Wu. Wu discovered that the skeleton knight possessed the power to transform corpses into skeleton soldiers, thereby increasing their ranks in a unique way. 1 hour later, Wu's skeleton soldier team has reached over 7,000 people. There are only about 3,000 flesh golems left in the lair. He realized that the timing was right. He immediately issued the "Clean the nest" command. Let 7,000 skeleton soldiers charge into the nest at once. All the flesh golems were eliminated in less than 3 hours. At this point, the skeleton knight presented a flesh core. It looks a bit dirty, but after all, it is a level 1 holy relic that has the power to enhance the health of core family dependents. Receive the assessment points. Wu's ranking also instantly rose to 108th place. On the other side, an infernal hound is searching in the necromancer's fruit forest, but can only find some locust eggs. Xiaolongzhang, incarnated as a demonic wyvern, cursed loudly. Damn it! Where the hell did that brat Wu go? He then saw that Wu's ranking had changed. It instantly increased by 60 points. Combining the information from the task list, he deduced that Wu was near the flesh golem's lair. But when he rushed to the entrance of the lair, he saw many soldiers stationed outside. He couldn't help but feel suspicious in his heart. Damn it, Wu! You actually secretly harbored the family dependents of the skeleton tribe. Do you want to achieve good results in this assessment by doing this? Dream on. Shortly after, he commanded all the infernal hounds of Oracle to pounce at once. Tear apart all the soldiers guarding outside. Take advantage of Wu's lack of reaction. Then he lunged at him. In fact, the infernal hound itself is very powerful. Moreover, it is in the environment of the infernal depths, which enhances its strength. Shior far surpasses ordinary elites. The man transformed into a demonic wyvern comparable to a hero. A swipe of the dragon claw directly transformed Wu into a skeleton lord. The infernal hound under Xiaolongzhang's command pounced towards Wu. The surrounding skeleton soldiers would not allow their leader to be attacked. They bravely stepped forward to block the way, forming an extremely strong iron bone wall in front of Wu. Xiaolongzhang, transformed into a demonic wyvern, couldn't help but sigh at the scene. It was only the second day since Xiaolongzhang descended into the infernal depths dimension. Wu quickly aggregated so many troops. If we wait a few more days, who else can stop him? He must be dealt with today. Xiaolongzhang realizes the endless trouble ahead. Rushed into the battlefield immediately. The body covered with thick scales charged straight ahead. Crushed the large pieces of elite iron skeleton into fragments. Even if it's the skeleton knight of otherworldly life. Just barely blocked one attack. After several collisions, the bones on his body also shattered severely. Wu decided to find out the truth. Xiaolongzhang, we have no enmity. Why did you attack my family dependents? Xiaolongzhang did not reveal his secret love for Shuangqin. Instead, a roar shook away all the sand, rocks, and mud along the way. Then, a dragon claw swept across Wu, immediately shattered the jade-like bones all over the ground. The skeleton soldiers lost their leader. The soul fire in their eye sockets flickered intensely. They went mad and charged towards the demonic wyvern. However, Xiaolongzhang didn't even bother to look. A bunch of unruly rabble. There's no need to kill them. Although they are skeletons, they have loyal souls. Only by killing all enemies can the leader's spirit be properly honored. When Xiaolongzhang left, the bones of Wu were suddenly pulled together by some force and aggregated again. This is one of the powers of the Skeleton Lord Revival. It commands the skeletons who are standing still in silence not to stand stupidly. Gather all forces and leave this place as soon as possible. Only by hiding in a place where Xiaolongzhang cannot find you. Cut off all communications. Wait until you have enough forces under your command, then find an opportunity to seek revenge. On the other hand, Xiaolongzhang opened the list of candidates withdrawing from the exam. After looking for a long time, he didn't find Wu's name on it. He stubbornly returned to the main list to search for the name. Indeed, he discovered the name. Wu, ranked 163rd on the list. In other words, the previous Wu faked his death. He immediately led the infernal hound back to the flesh golem's lair. Even if it means wasting time this time, I will exterminate all of you. However, when they returned to the entrance of the nest, they found it completely empty. Not even a single intact bone was left on the ground. Xiaolongzhang angrily ordered, "Oracle, search for me. Do not let any skeleton within a radius of 100 miles escape." At this moment, Wu has already escaped 50 kilometers away after battling Xiaolongzhang. The skeleton army now only has 5,000 soldiers left. He can only use more skeleton crystals to help strengthen the skeleton soldiers. Absorbing the pure energy of the necromancer, the skeleton soldiers not only recovered from their injuries, but also began to evolve. Some evolved into iron skeletons, with one even evolving into a skeleton knight. But Wu knows that their current strength is far from enough. To be recognized by the Imperial Academy, they must enhance their abilities significantly. They need to achieve outstanding results to stand out. He then took on Mission 64. The Fallen is a native creature of the Infernal Depths dimension. It has mediocre strength. This trash was marked with 80 points. Apparently, the scale must exceed 1 million. Coincidentally, I can use the Fallen to mass-produce skeleton soldiers. The target is the Fallen Clan. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, 2 months have passed. Nearly 300 students in the entire grade have applied for the re-examination. Among them, Fei Huang and Imolu have the most outstanding results, holding the first and second spots. Meanwhile, Wu is currently ranked last in the entire grade. Letian Lu was publicly mocked. Already said it earlier. Wu is just trying to take advantage of the situation. He only got first place in the centralized exam by doing so. But some teacher who can't see the truth treats him like a treasure. Wu is just a waste. No matter how many resources you give him, he can't achieve anything worthwhile. When Tian felt insulted, he angrily said, "Why don't we make another bet then? The student who wins the championship this time will still be Wu. Are you willing to bet or not?" Letian Lu is longing for it. He has also increased the stakes. I don't have 10 points of divinity. Shior Comic, but I have divine healing. Shior Comic, I take divine healing bet with you. 3 Skeleton Knight first time collaboration summon. Surprisingly, it accidentally summoned a mutated otherworldly life instead. It is a being even more powerful than the Skeleton Knight. Just recently, when Tian, unable to stand Letian Lu insulting Wu, actually used 10 points of divinity as a wager. The bet was that Wu would be the champion of this assessment. Letian Lu lost 5 points of divinity last time. There are no spare divinity cards left on hand. Had to take out the level 3 divine healing and gamble with him. Actually, when Tion was not impulsive. Because he knew that Wu had already started to tackle a task with an assessment score of 80. Once completed, such a high difficulty task will attract the attention of top-tier universities. At the same time, in a certain dimension of the infernal depths. On this side, there were originally millions of the fallen ones camped. But now the number has dropped to less than 100,000. This is all because Wu is using guerrilla warfare. He lures out the fallen ones in batches to be killed, then resurrects their bodies as skeleton soldiers. The current number of his skeleton soldiers. It has now reached an astonishing 900,000. The disparity in military strength is so great. He immediately issued the order for the Oracle army to roll out. Skeleton Knight took the lead and stormed into the camp of the fallen ones, where they rose up in resistance. But in the blink of an eye, they were overwhelmed by a massive number of skeleton soldiers. Every time one of the fallen goes down, it means a skeleton soldier stands up. Even the fallen leader, Prayer, has the power to be resurrected. But it can't compare to the summoning speed of the 3 skeleton knights at all. Not even 20 minutes. Wu has successfully captured the fallen one's camp in one fell swoop. After completing the clearance task, Wu instructed 3 skeleton knights to simultaneously use summoning power on the body of the fallen Prayer, only to see the flesh and blood on the corpse dissipate rapidly. Soul fire unexpectedly ignited in the originally hollow eye sockets. Then a mutated skeleton clan otherworldly life appeared before their eyes. Skeleton summoner otherworldly undead talent. Hard bone skeleton revival. View the attribute panel. Wu exclaimed in amazement. I'm going. Skeleton summoner is stronger than skeleton knight. Skeleton summoner points towards the back. Just now, the skeleton soldier that had been smashed into fragments. A faint green light envelopes it. The scattered skeleton fragments reassemble in an instant. The skeleton soldier killed in battle unexpectedly came back to life. In this way, there will be no more casualties among Wu's army in the future. Admiringly, this skeleton summoner really has some abilities. The skeleton knight loots inside the fallen one's tribe. A total of 3 good spoils were turned in to Wu. The level 1 holy relic can allow some core family dependents to unleash the power of a level 1 fireball model of hero fragment. When a quarter of the model of hero is assembled, it allows the family dependents to merge. Promoting the hero fallen source can bestow the race with fallen power. Wu is both surprised and happy. This last piece of loot is the fallen source. It turned out to be an item that can trigger life evolution. He immediately submitted the task. His ranking rose to 401st place. And he received a reward, a level 2 skill crystal chain fireball. Later, he chose a nearby Infernal Depths local race with an assessment score of 70 points. Issued an oracle facing 1,000,000 soldiers. The army started to move out. The man is crazily spawning 1,000,000 troops in the Infernal Depths dimension. In just 3 days, he went from being last to becoming 4th in the grade ranking. Such a terrifying speed of promotion. It made those teachers, who used to look down on him, amazed. They all praised that when Tion had really struck gold. However, Letty and Lu still insisted on being tough. So what if he was promoted to the 4th level in his age group? He was not the first anyway. But as soon as he finished speaking, the voice of Director Su came over the broadcast. 2 top universities extended an olive branch to student Wu. There is also a second-rate university. Students can directly enroll without taking the college entrance examination. Letty and Lu can't stand any good news about Wu. I protest. Why do you only report invitations from Wu classmates' colleges? Why not mention other classmates? But Director Su said that only Wu has reached 3,000 points and completed at least one task with a score of 80 or above, so he is the only one who received the invitation. Just when Letty and Lu was feeling down, he suddenly heard that his classmate Shuang Qin received an invitation from the top-notch academy, Berserker Academy. His mood improved. He immediately contacted Xiaolongzhang, who is currently undergoing assessment. There are only 3 tasks left. You must complete them first. Do not let Wu take the lead. As long as he is not in first place, I can win the bet. Meanwhile, Wu is contemplating the 3 tasks listed in the document. Currently my score has reached 3,480 points, ranking 3rd. I am 130 points behind the first place. So, I still need to complete 2 tasks. But the remaining tasks are all tough nuts to crack. I wonder if my 2 million skeleton soldiers, 2 heroes, and nearly 200 otherworldly life can defeat the Minotaur tribe. On the other side, the gate of the Minotaur tribe was suddenly attacked by unknown family dependents. All Minotaurs inside were suddenly alarmed. Xiaolongzhang's demonic wyvern incarnation praised. Put in more effort. You don't want to be taken down by Wu in the end. Sun Tzu's Liger incarnation told him not to waste words. I'm giving it my all. However, happiness didn't last for 3 seconds. The Minotaur hero from the tribe charged out. He raised the big stick in his hand and immediately smashed it down hard towards the 2 people. With one blow, he instantly knocked the 2 of them back. Withstanding the attacks of 2 large otherworldly life forms. Still not at a disadvantage. But unable to capture it after a prolonged attack. Xiaolongzhang started to get anxious. Let's retreat. We can't afford to continue this battle, or we will run out of resources. Sun Tzu agreed. This type of level task. We can't pass it even if we join forces. Don't even think about Wu. As soon as the words fell, they saw a large number of skeleton soldiers outside the Minotaur tribe's gate. It seemed as if there were endless numbers extending to the sky. Both of them couldn't help but have the same thought in their hearts. Could it be that they were unlucky enough to encounter the necrotic disaster? Soon these skeleton soldiers and Minotaurs, the Infernal Hound and Lizardfolk forces have initiated a battle. The scene is incredibly spectacular. Large numbers of skeleton soldiers were smashed into pieces. Xiaolongzhang and Sun Tzu found that although there were many skeleton soldiers, their combat power was very low. They could take the opportunity to break out while the Minotaur was drawing the fire. We will certainly not let them go easily. He immediately sent out a hero's necromancer to battle. With a single thought from the necromancer, countless shattered bones instantly aggregated together to form a skeleton giant about 20 meters tall. This is a skeleton giant made up of countless aggregated shattered bones. The immense body, that is 20 meters tall, strides into the battlefield. Just one punch causes devastating damage to the enemy troops. And those killed life forms, summoned by the skeleton knight, rose up again in the form of skeleton soldier, became one of the members of the necrotic disaster. Xiaolongzhang and Sun Tzu were shocked on the spot. Lives killed by the skeleton giant can be summoned as skeleton soldiers by the skeleton knight, and skeleton soldiers that die will be restored by the skeleton summoner. Such an unbeatable lineup. They decided to abandon their family dependents and secretly run away. Unexpectedly, a 20-meter-high skeleton giant had already blocked the way. Wu stood on the giant's shoulders and waved to the 2 people. "Hello, classmates Xiaolongzhang and Sun Tzu." Xiaolongzhang's pupils constricted, a face filled with disbelief. "Aren't your core family dependents locusts?" Wu said. "Xiaolongzhang believes in reciprocity. I am here to see you off." At the same time of speaking, the skeleton giant has already lifted its huge foot. Xiaolongzhang watched helplessly as the giant foot fell down, roaring in frustration. "No!" Xiaolongzhang, incarnated as the demonic wyvern, quickly got stomped on by skeleton giant on the spot. Sun Tzu stood still in place. "Wu, classmate. There aren't major conflicts between us. It was all a misunderstanding before. I apologize to you. Killing me won't bring you any benefit." Wu immediately countered. "Killing you may not bring any benefit, but it seems that letting you go won't bring any benefit either." Sun Tzu was about to cry out of fear. I will share half of the treasures I obtained in this dimension with you. Just asking you to spare my life. Wu does not have a direct conflict with Sun Tzu. After a little thought, I agreed. Deal. You can roll. Sun Tzu scored 3,020 points in the assessment. He will definitely not receive fewer treasures. He fled in panic after signing the contract. 5 hours later, more than 80% of the Minotaur tribe were killed or injured. The bodies of the Minotaurs were piled up, forming a small hill. And the leader of the Minotaur tribe, the only hero in such dire circumstances, finally chose to surrender. Submitted to Wu's command. Wu considered it carefully and agreed to the Minotaur tribe's submission. Then the task was submitted and 90 points were obtained. Now his total assessment score has reached 3,570 points. He is 40 points away from the first place. And there are 2 more tasks to choose from. However, he was not happy for even 3 seconds. Another task worth 90 points instantly turned gray. Just as Wu exclaimed in surprise. The leaderboard shows that Shuangqin has just completed the task. The total score is 3,580 points, ranking second. Wu felt helpless. Now there is only one task left. If you want to take first place, you have to go and defeat the Shadow Frogman demigod. Even if you have more than 20 million troops under your command, it's not necessarily enough to defeat the demigod, especially considering they have the home field advantage. But in order to attract the attention of top-tier Capital Academy, Wu decisively issued the Oracle Army's rollout target to the Shadow Frogman's nest. On the other side, the class teachers have already counted the data. 11 classes have completed the assessment. Now only 3 students, Wen Tian, Shuangqin Wu, and Sun Tzu, have not come out yet. Letian Lu thinks they are just playing tricks. Currently, there is only one assassination demigod mission left. No one from the 11th class has attempted it. No one has succeeded in history either. Wen Tian, however, doesn't think so. Wu and Shuangqin did challenge the frogfolk demigod. We will wait and see. I have full confidence in my students. I didn't expect this ugly frogfolk demigod to be able to summon a super huge devourer frog the size of a mountain with hand seals. In one mouthful, it swallowed Shuangqin's stormfinch whole. Just now, Shuangqin's golden-crowned stormfinch transformed, circling in the air above Shadow Frogman's territory. Tens of thousands of stormfinches aggregate into a thundercloud. Countless bolts of thunder descend from the sky. The scene is a wild frenzy of thunder. The entire sky is illuminated by flashes of lightning. Soon, a large group of Shadow Frogmen were struck by lightning and killed. Such a terrifying energy instantly caught the attention of the demigod frogfolk, only to see it raise its palms, condensing an evil power in midair, transforming into a barrier that shrouds the entire frogfolk territory. The protective shield repelled all the thunder attacks. At the same time, the voice of the frogfolk demigod rang out. How dare you destroy my tribe and kill my people? I will curse you with a bad death. His words fell. A black light suddenly shot out from the barrier. Precisely hit the golden-crowned stormfinch transformed by Shuangqin. Shuangqin suddenly felt the sky darkening and the earth growing dim. Waves of weakness pressed on every nerve in her body, causing her to plummet directly from a height of a kilometer. At this critical moment, suddenly a golden light shone from the golden-crowned stormfinch. All the negative status effects on its body disappeared in an instant. That is one of the defensive cards that the Shuangqin family gave her. Divine Purification. Just dispel the dark curse of the frogfolk demigod. Restore Shuangqin to normal and flap the wings again. Summon a huge lightning ball full of electric light in front of the body. Threw it towards the dark protective shield. Shuangqin knew that relying solely on her own strength was far from enough. She then ordered her 10,000 Stormfinch core family dependents. Together, they spewed out a remarkable lightning ball and hurled it forward. That's how tens of thousands of storm finches landed on the protective shield. 3 waves of lightning ball were smashed, finally managed to shatter the indestructible protective shield. But just at that moment, the frogfolk demigod once again cast divine magic and quickly formed a hand seal with both hands, summoning the devourer frog to the battle. As its voice fell, a devourer frog the size of a mountain appeared in front of Shuang-Qin. Its crimson eyes flickered madly. The next moment, a gigantic tongue about a kilometer long shot out, sweeping towards Shuang-Qin at an unbelievable speed. Shuang-Qin didn't even have time to react. Wrapped around by the wet and sticky tongue, it enveloped the body. The tremendous force from the tongue forcefully dragged the transformed golden-crowned storm finch Shuang-Qin into the belly of the devourer frog. Shuang-Qin struggled to release thunder and lightning inside the belly, but it was to no avail. It's no use. This guy is too big. The small thunder and lightning couldn't hurt it at all. However, at this critical moment, Wu initiated a video call. Shuang-Qin had no choice but to turn over its eyes. Why at this moment? At such an embarrassing moment for me. After connecting, Wu looked Shuang-Qin up and down and asked, "Where are you? Your outfit is quite unique." Shuang-Qin's face showed blue veins and replied, "Mind your own business." Wu had long been accustomed to her ladylike temper. Directly asked, "Cooperation? Otherwise, wait for another 10 minutes. Your storm finch has been killed." Shuang-Qin wanted to bravely say, "So what?" But in the end, she couldn't say it out loud. "Okay, let's make a deal. If I win, I want the body of Shadow Frogman the demigod. The rest can be yours." Wu replied, "Okay, then quickly order Oracle to send your storm finch to pick up my elite troops. I'm at..." When Shuang-Qin found out Wu's location, she disdainfully said, "What a useless thing. Can't even get through. How are we supposed to fight now?" The frogfolk demigod, who can use hand seal, is really strong. A move dark magic night descends. It took away all the skeleton soldiers' vitality. Just a moment ago, Shuang-Qin ordered all surviving storm finches to withdraw from the battle. Fly to the swamp to meet Wu's skeleton million army. Wu immediately commanded a batch of iron-boned skeletons. Jumped onto the storm finch's body. Due to the storm finch's extremely large size, he made several trips back and forth to transport all the skeleton soldiers to the center of the battlefield. When flying above the Shadow Frogman, he descended in a free fall. Many iron skeletons were shattered into bone fragments from the fall. Some were flattened by frogfolk immediately after they appeared. Wu doesn't care about these cannon fodder's troops. They fall apart at a touch, really brittle. But at least the pile of broken bones is increasing. These broken bones are the source of the necromancer's skeleton giant. At this moment, the necromancer is standing on top of that hill of broken bones. He clasped his hands together and issued an eerie command. Soon, countless broken bones seemed to be guided by some kind of force. They aggregated in the same direction. The next moment, a skeleton giant as big as a mountain appeared before their eyes. Its combat power has far exceeded that of an ordinary hero. At the moment when the skeleton giant was forming, the hero with 5 Shadow Frogmen immediately cast the dark magic marsh of despair. The 100-meter-tall skeleton giant body shuddered immediately. One of its legs sank deep into a pit, causing it to lose balance. It temporarily lost its mobility power. Wu saw the situation. He immediately dispatched another 2 heroes. Necromancer Summoner. Minotaur. His words fell silent. 1 Minotaur and 1 skeleton jumped down from the shoulder of the skeleton giant. Head towards the weaker Shadow Frogman family dependents in the swamp and attack. Only saw Minotaur shaman waving stone pillar totems in the crowd. In the blink of an eye, a large group of Shadow Frogman elites were smashed to death. At the same time, Necromancer Summoner also activated the Area Revival out-of-body combination. A vast expanse of white skeleton soldiers, climbed out of the Shadow Frogman's body and showed a wonderful comic. The scene looks extremely creepy. The Shadow Frogman family dependents keep rushing out of the nest. Battle against the newly born skeleton soldier. The stormfinch in the sky is also cooperating with the skeleton army to the fullest. Continuously unleashing thunder bombardments, the situation slowly began to show signs of a reversal. However, a demigod is still a demigod, when it realizes that its family dependents are not its match. And then it launched the dark magic. Night descends once again. Soon, endless darkness shrouded the entire frogfolk swamp. Wu couldn't help but sigh. The terrifying dark magic skeleton soldier's vitality was all drained. Seeing a large number of skeleton soldiers falling to the ground unable to get up, Wu had no way to break the situation. All family dependents were here. Is it going to be a defeat? Just at this moment, the sound of iron cutting sore wind and the red dwarf tribe. The sound is coming from the realm. O Deity, we are willing to battle. I hear the sound of believers. Wu is extremely excited. A new day has arrived. It's a good time to reintroduce family dependence. The next moment, in Wu's realm, that huge teleport suddenly violently opened. Iron-cutting sword wind, holding 4 tempest swords, stepped through the door and entered the frogfolk swamp. Following closely behind were the entire red dwarf tribe. Each of them was fully armed. The leader, Divine Hammer, even picked up the Inferno Hammer. There are also dozens of large-sized ones at the back. Otherworldly life Infernal Worm. Pass through the teleport door until 100 spots are filled. And there are billions of locusts in the realm that cannot pass through teleport. Without intelligence, they seem to be communicating with Wu. Oh Deity, we are ready. Please sacrifice us. The man sacrifices millions of locusts in the realm. Suddenly, a reward appears before him, allowing him to turn the situation around. Flame of Hope is a special item. It dispels darkness, sweeping away negative effects, and bestows divine energy on family dependents. A gift from a believer to the deity, hoping it will bring miracles. Wu immediately raised the flame of hope and shouted, "With the light of the sacred flame, dispel all darkness." As his words fell, the darkness shrouding the frogfolk swamp quickly faded away. All the frogfolk hidden in the darkness were exposed. The frogfolk demigod looked stunned. How could it be possible? A divinity creature actually could dispel my dark magic. Absolutely impossible. As the entire area was restored to light, all negative conditions attached to dependents of the Wu family swept away. On the contrary, each Shadow Frogman has also lost one by one. The blessing of evil power, becoming weak and helpless. Wu looked at the mountain devourer and speculated that Shuangqin should have been swallowed by this monster frog. He then ordered Oracle to kill the devourer frog. I saw the red dwarf, Divine Hammer, and iron-cutting sword wind leaping up. By using his self-created technique Iron Cut, and the endless heat waves of Inferno Hammer, violently smashed a large pit out of the abdomen of Devourer Frog. Then the golden-crowned Stormfinch transformed from Shuangqin took the opportunity to rush out. The power of thunder wrapped around the body helped to avoid the damage to the stomach. However, after Shuangqin escaped, he immediately threw a huge lightning ball at Devourer Frog, only to see that the lightning ball covered the body of Devourer Frog. Weak and frail, it was instantly blasted into charred remains. The dependents of the Stormfinch family saw the return of the deity. Their battle spirit is stronger. Bravely and fearlessly they clashed with the Red Dwarf tribe. Charge into the center of the battlefield. On the other side, dozens of infernal worms flying out from the Wu realm also initiated self-explosion, perishing together with those frogfolk heroes. Lose the dark magic fetters of the frogfolk hero. The skeleton giant, 100 meters tall, regained movement. Countless Shadow Frogmen died under its feet, turned into a puddle of flesh paste. Seeing that the situation is already lost, that frogfolk demigod actually wants to abandon their family dependence and escape. Don't feel too pleased with yourselves. But I just turned around. I just saw Wu raise the holy flame to block the way. Under the shining light of purity, even a demigod cannot escape detection. The frogfolk demigod, who constantly uses dark magic, has consumed a large amount of MP. Now without the strength to withstand the upcoming series of lightning strikes from Shuang Qin. Finally tortured to the brink of death by Shuang Qin. It was only at the moment when it was about to breathe its last that Shuang Qin stopped. It's your turn next. According to the previous agreement, I only want the body. Everything else is yours. The frogfolk demigod weakly says, Let me go! I am willing to offer all of myself in exchange for my life. But Wu says something shocking. You are already dead. All that you have is now mine. Before the frogfolk demigod can react, iron-cutting sword wind decisively brings down the Tempest sword in his hand. The strongest demigod in this assessment finally falls. Half an hour later, Wu instructed the skeleton soldier to collect all the treasures in the swamp. The skeleton soldier plundered and stacked them into a small mountain. He asked Shuang Qin beside him. These things. Aren't you considering taking one or two? Shuang Qin said. We had already agreed. Except for the body, everything else is yours. But the conversation wasn't finished yet. Just then, Wu put on a crown for himself. Consider this as my way of repaying you with interest. Shuang Qin knows that this holy relic is worth tens of thousands of magic points at least. She immediately smiled brightly. Well, in that case, I'll reluctantly accept it. But at this moment, when Tian's voice suddenly sounded, Wu did a good job. School leaders and top universities' admissions officers. All these skeleton soldiers are left for you. Hurry back.